Welcome to Bal Ramayana, a children's retelling of the ancient Indian epic, the Ramayana, written by Vasudev Govind Apte in 1921. Children, I want to tell you the main story of the Ramayana in brief. But first, let me share some background. Among the greatest books written in Sanskrit, the Ramayana is one of the finest. A great sage named Valmiki composed this book long ago. In ancient times, a king named Dasharatha ruled our land. He had four sons named Ram, Lakshmana, Bharat, and Shatrughna. All four were brave and virtuous. Ram was the eldest. Following his father's command, Ram lived in the forest for 14 years, slew Ravana and other demons, and then returned to Ayodhya, his capital, where he ruled wisely and made his people happy. This is the story of the Ramayana. The chapters of this book are called Kandas. There are seven. Their names are Balakanda, Ayodhyakanda, Aranyakanda, Kishkindhakanda, Sundarakanda, Yuddhakanda. Chapter 1. Balakanda, the childhood of Ram. On the banks of the Sarayu river lies the beautiful city of Ayodhya. Long ago, a famous and mighty king of the Ikshvaku dynasty ruled there. In this renowned dynasty, great warrior kings like Dilipa, Aja, and Dasharatha ruled and protected their people well. Dasharatha had everything, but one sorrow. He had no children. He had three queens, Kaushalya, Kaikeyi, and Sumitra. To be blessed with children, he performed great prayers and fire sacrifices. By the grace of God, Kaushalya gave birth to Ram, Kaikeyi to Bharat, and Sumitra to Lakshmana and Shatrughna. The birth of these sons brought great joy to King Dasharatha and his people, and grand celebrations were held. Ram was born on the ninth day of the month of Chaitra, which is why that day is still celebrated as Ram Navami every year. As the boys grew up and began to talk and walk, their love for each other delighted everyone. Lakshmana had a special bond with Ram, and Shatrughna with Bharat. They all lived together, eating and playing. From childhood, they were very humble and obedient to their parents. When they turned 5, the Saj Vasishta began teaching them to read and write, and gradually they learned many subjects. They also practiced daily exercise, horse riding, and discipline under their guru's guidance. Thus, these princes became sharp in mind and strong in body, and quickly mastered the military arts required of warriors. Seeing how learned the princes had become, King Dasharatha was very pleased and loved them even more. Then one day, the Sage Vishwamitra suddenly arrived at Dasharatha's court. The king honored him properly, seated him, and stood humbly before him with folded hands, asking, "What is your command?" Vishwamitra said, "O king, I begin a great fire sacrifice, but wicked demons keep disrupting it. It is the duty of warriors like you to protect such sacrifices. For this purpose, please send your two sons Ram and Lakshmana with me." Hearing this, King Dasharatha fell into deep thought. However, on the advice of his guru Vasishta, he agreed to send Ram and Lakshmana. The brothers took their bows and arrows, bowed to their parents, and set off behind Vishwamitra. Vishwamitra led them across mountains and rivers until they reached a forest where a demoness named Tataka lived. She and her son Maricha used to kill Brahmins and disrupt sacrifices. Vishwamitra asked Ram to slay her. Ram hesitated, saying it was against a warrior's code to raise a hand against a woman. Vishwamitra explained that punishing a wicked woman who commits evil acts is indeed a warrior's duty. Upon Vishwamitra's instruction, Ram immediately slew her. After Tataka was killed, Gautama's wife Ahalya, who had been turned to stone by a curse, was freed by Ram's touch. Then the three of them proceeded to Vishwamitra's ashram. There the sages performed the yagna, and Ram and Lakshmana stood guard to protect it. After 5 days, on the sixth day, a horde of demons led by Maricha and Subhahu attacked and tried to destroy the sacrifice. Ram rained arrows upon them, driving Maricha away and slaying Subhahu. When the sages saw that their troubles had been removed through Ram, they all praised him and gave him their blessings. The next day, Vishwamitra told Ram and Lakshmana, "There is a great festival at the court of King Janaka in the city of Mithila. We must go there. Come with us. You will also get to see the remarkable bow of Lord Shiva kept there. Not even gods, demons, or Rakshasas have been able to lift it." Ram and Lakshmana agreed and went with him. When they reached Janaka's city, the king welcomed them warmly. Seeing the beauty and radiance of Ram and Lakshmana, Janaka wondered whose sons they were. Vishwamitra told him everything. The next day, King Janaka announced to his court, "While I was ploughing my field, a girl arose from the earth. I adopted her as my daughter and named her Sita. Whoever can bend this divine bow of Lord Shiva and string it, only to him will I give my daughter in marriage. Many kings have tried, but none has succeeded." Ram stood up with great dignity, effortlessly lifted that huge bow, bent it and strung it. In doing so, it snapped in two. The entire assembly was astonished. Janaka was overjoyed to find such a brave and noble son-in-law. Dasharatha was summoned, and the marriage of Ram and Sita was performed with great ceremony. Lakshmana married Janaka's daughter, Urmila. Bharata and Shatrughna married Mandavi and Shrutakirti respectively. After the wedding celebrations, King Dasharatha returned to Ayodhya with his 4 sons and their wives. On the way, they met the fierce sage Parashurama, who challenged Ram. But Ram immediately picked up Parashurama's bow and drew it. Defeated, Parashurama praised Ram and left. Dasharatha's procession reached Ayodhya in grand style and great celebrations began. After some time, Bharat went to visit his maternal grandfather, and Shatrughna went with him. Chapter 2. Ayodhyakanda. Events in Ayodhya. Ram was beloved by everyone because of his valor and sweet nature. He always spoke kindly to all, never made anyone sad with harsh words, had no arrogance, always tried to keep others happy. People loved him deeply and naturally wished for him to be their king. King Dasharatha also felt the time had come to place Ram on the throne. With the approval of his ministers and people, it was decided to anoint Ram as king, and preparations began. When all preparations were complete, Dasharatha called Ram and said, Ram, you are my eldest son and have made your people happy with your virtues. I am now old, so I will crown you on this auspicious day. Let me give you 4 pieces of advice. Personally, looking after the affairs of the kingdom and governing your people justly is the main duty of a king. Keeping the army in good order and punishing wrongdoers to maintain discipline is also a king's duty. Never needlessly harm anyone. Protect those who seek refuge. Always encourage those who do their duty. Comfort the sorrowful. Never criticize others or praise yourself. Do not covet others' possessions. Hold compassion for all living beings. Love your people as your own children. And consider their happiness as your happiness and their sorrow as your sorrow. In this lies true merit and true welfare. Ram said, As you command, bowed to Dasharatha, and went to receive blessings from his mothers. In the morning, auspicious music began playing throughout Ayodhya, and the coronation celebration started. The citizens spoke joyfully about Ram being crowned king. The entire city seemed to bloom with happiness. But meanwhile, Manthara, Kaikeya's favorite maidservant, heard the reason for the celebrations, and her whole body burned with anger. She went to Kaikeya and said, Kaikeya, wake up. Ram is being crowned king, and you are lying here calmly. Your son Bharat has been sent to his grandmother's. Kaushalya's son will sit on the throne, and you will have to stand before her like a servant. Kaikeyi calmly replied, Ram is just as dear to me as Bharat. He is virtuous and of pure conduct. But Manthara kept insisting, and slowly wicked thoughts began entering Kaikeyi's mind too. Manthara then reminded her of 2 boons that Dasharatha had once promised her during a battle. She advised Kaikeyi to use those boons now. Manthara said, Ask for 1 boon. Instead of crowning Ram, crown Bharat. And for the second boon, send Ram to the forest for 14 years. Kaikeyi was convinced. She threw off her fine ornaments, let down her hair, and sat fuming. When Dasharatha came to share the joyful news, he found her lying there sullen. He said, Ask for whatever you want, I will give it. She took his solemn vow and demanded her 2 boons. Hearing Kaikeyi's harsh demands, Dasharatha fainted with grief. After recovering, he begged her again and again not to demand this. But she would not listen. She said, If you do not keep your given word, I will give up my life right before you. These words cut deeply into Dasharatha's heart. He immediately sent for Ram. Ram came, bowed to both Dasharatha and Kaikeyi, and asked, What is your command? Dasharatha was too overcome with grief to speak. Ram asked Kaikeyi what was causing his father such sorrow. She told him everything. Then Ram calmly said, I accept my parents' command. I am going to the forest now. You all must protect my parents and brothers. Saying this, he bowed and left. He went to Sita and told her what had happened. Sita said firmly, Wherever you go, I will follow. I will be wherever you are. When she insisted, Ram took her along. Lakshmana too was furious and ready to fight. But Ram calmed him with words of wisdom, saying that obeying parents' commands is the duty of children. Lakshmana then decided to go with them to the forest to serve and protect them. The 3 departed from Ayodhya. The citizens were overwhelmed with sorrow. The charioteer left them on the banks of the Tamasa river and returned to Ayodhya. Then, saying, Ram, Ram, Dasharatha breathed his last. When Bharat returned to Ayodhya, he learned that Ram had gone to the forest and that Dasharatha had died because of his own mother's actions. He was deeply grieved and angrily rebuked his mother. Bharat set out to find Ram in the forest. He met Ram at Chitrakuta, bowed to him, told him of their father's death, and with folded hands and a sorrowful voice, begged Ram to return to Ayodhya and take the kingdom. Ram gently said, Kaikeyi mother has done no wrong. It is my duty to honor my parents' command. Return quickly and take charge of the kingdom. In 14 years we will meet again. At Bharat's insistence, Ram lovingly gave him his padukas, his wooden sandals. Bharat returned to Ayodhya, placed Ram's padukas on the throne, and lived in simple asceticism, waiting for Ram's return. Chapter 3. Aranyakanda. Life in the forest. Ram, Lakshmana, and Sita wandered through the forest and eventually built a hut in the Panchavati forest on the banks of the Godavari river. They lived peacefully there for some time. One day, a demoness named Shurpanaka came near them and behaved badly. On Ram's command, Lakshmana cut off her nose and ears. She ran to her powerful brothers Khara and Dushana, told them what had happened, and they attacked Ram with a huge demon army. But Ram bravely slew them all single handedly. Shurpanaka then went to Lanka and told her brother Ravana, the demon king, everything. She also described Sita's beauty. Ravana was enraged and decided to abduct Sita. He went to the demon Maricha and asked him to take the form of a beautiful golden deer to lure Ram away from Sita. Maricha warned Ravana that this was a terrible and wicked plan that would lead to the destruction of all of Lanka. But Ravana would not listen and threatened Maricha's life. So Maricha reluctantly agreed. The two went to the Dandaka forest. Maricha took the form of a magical golden deer whose body shimmered like gold with coral like horns and pearl like fur. Sita was captivated and strongly urged Ram to catch it for her. Ram left Lakshmana to guard Sita and chase the deer far away. Finally, Ram realized it was Maricha's deception and shot him with an arrow. As Maricha died, he cried out in Ram's voice, "O Sita, O Lakshmana, come and save me." Hearing this, Sita was terrified and forced Lakshmana to go help Ram. Reluctantly, Lakshmana left. Taking this opportunity, Ravana came disguised as a sage and abducted Sita, carrying her off to Lanka by chariot. The brave eagle Jatayu heard Sita's cries and attacked Ravana's chariot. He destroyed the flag, killed the charioteer, and tore flesh from Ravana's back. But Ravana cut off both of Jatayu's wings with one arrow and flew away with Sita. When Ram returned and found Sita missing, he was overcome with grief. He and Lakshmana searched everywhere. They found the dying Jatayu, who told them that Ravana had taken Sita south to Lanka. Jatayu said, "I kept my life waiting for your sight, O Ram. Now that I have seen you, I die happily." And he breathed his last. Ram grieved deeply for Jatayu. As for a close relative, he performed Jatayu's last rites and set out in search of Sita. Chapter 4. Kishkindhakanda, the kingdom of Kishkindha. Searching for Sita, Ram and Lakshmana came to the region near the Rishyamukha mountain, where a monkey king named Vali ruled the kingdom of Kishkindha. Vali had a brother named Sugriva, and the two were bitter enemies. The story of Vali and Sugriva's quarrel is as follows. After their father died, Vali became king. A demon named Mayavi picked a fight with Vali. Both brothers chased him into a cave. After waiting a year at the entrance with no sign of Vali, Sugriva saw blood flowing from the cave and assumed his brother was dead. He returned to Kishkindha and took the throne. But Vali had actually killed the demon and returned. Furious at Sugriva, he expelled him from the kingdom and took his wife captive. Sugriva had been wandering ever since. Through Hanuman's mediation, Ram, Lakshmana and Sugriva became close friends. They agreed that Ram would slay Vali and give Sugriva back his kingdom, and Sugriva would help Ram find Sita. Soon a battle between Sugriva and Vali took place. Ram stood hidden behind a tree and shot Vali with an arrow. Vali fell. As Vali was dying, he said to Ram, "What offense had I committed against you?" Ram replied, "You kept Sugriva's wife captive. It is for this offense that I have punished you." Vali felt deep remorse. He entrusted his son Angad to Sugriva's care and breathed his last. Ram gave the kingdom to Sugriva. Then Sugriva sent Hanuman, also known as Maruti, along with Nala, Nila, and other monkey soldiers in all four directions to search for Sita. All were ordered to return in 1 month. Ram called Hanuman separately and gave him a ring from his own finger as a token for Sita to recognize him. Taking that ring, Hanuman and Angad went south. The other search parties returned with no success. Eventually, Jatayu's brother, Sampati, told them that Ravana had taken Sita across the sea to the island of Lanka. It was then decided to go to Lanka. Among their companions, only Hanuman alone had the ability to cross the vast sea. So, leaving his companions on the seashore, he crossed alone to Lanka. After a thorough search, he found Sita sitting beneath a tree in the Ashoka garden. Chapter 5. Sundarakanda, the beautiful chapter. Ravana tried hard to make Sita agree to his wishes, but she would not listen. He kept her under the guard of demonesses and made her suffer. He gave her 1 year's time, threatening that if she did not agree by then, she would be put to death. Only 2 months of that time remained. Sita sat grieving, constantly thinking of Ram. She had no appetite for food. Suddenly Hanuman appeared before her and showed her the ring Ram had given as a token. He assured her that Ram and Lakshmana were well and would soon rescue her. Sita was overjoyed and sent Hanuman back with the message to bring Ram quickly. As Hanuman was leaving Lanka, he uprooted trees in the Ashoka garden and destroyed many beautiful plants. When the demons rushed to stop him, he killed them all. Then Ravana sent his son Aksha, but Hanuman defeated him too. Then Indrajit captured Hanuman with the Brahmastra weapon. The demons bound his hands and feet and brought him before Ravana. Ravana ordered Hanuman killed, but Ravana's righteous brother Vibhishana intervened, saying, This one has come as a messenger from Ram, and killing an enemy's messenger is against the code of warriors. Ravana accepted this. Instead, he ordered rags to be tied around Hanuman's tail, soaked in oil, and set on fire. As soon as this was done, Hanuman flew up and jumping from house to house, he set all of Lanka on fire. Then he crossed the sea and returned to where Angad and the other monkeys were waiting. All of them then went together to Ramachandra. From Sita's hair, Hanuman had brought a divine jewel she had given as a token, and he presented it to Ramachandra along with a full report. Ram was extremely happy and embraced Hanuman with great affection. Chapter 6, Yuddhakanda, the war chapter. After hearing Hanuman's report, Ram set out with Lakshmana, Sugriva, and the entire monkey army to the seashore to rescue Sita. But crossing the vast sea was a great problem. Meanwhile, Ravana's noble brother Vibhishana had repeatedly pleaded with Ravana to restore Sita to Ram. But Ravana would not listen. So Vibhishana left Ravana's side and came to Ramachandra. Though Sugriva was suspicious, Ram welcomed Vibhishana warmly, accepted him, and promised to give him the kingdom of Lanka. Vibhishana advised that Vishwakarma's son Nala could build a bridge across the sea. Following his advice, Nala built a great bridge, and Ram crossed the sea with his entire monkey army and arrived on the other side. Ravana sent two spies to gather intelligence about Ram's army. They reported that the monkey army was enormous and that winning against them seemed impossible. They advised Ravana to make peace by returning Sita. Ravana's wife, Mandodari, gave the same advice. But Ravana would listen to no one. He even tried to deceive Sita by having a false head made resembling Ram's and telling her Ram had been killed in battle. But Sita, a firm and pure character, could not be shaken by such cruel tricks. She remained steadfast. Then Bibhishana's wife, Sarama, comforted Sita by telling her it was all a deception and that Ram and Lakshmana were perfectly well. The war began. Ravana's son, Indrajit, performed great valor and knocked both Ram and Lakshmana unconscious. He thought they were dead and returned to Lanka celebrating. But Hanuman brought healing herbs from a distant mountain, and Ram and Lakshmana revived and stood up ready for battle again. Ravana sent many powerful warriors one by one, but the monkey army slew them all. Then Ravana himself came for battle. He made Sugriva unconscious, crushed Hanuman, and wounded Lakshmana. Hanuman then gave Ravana a mighty blow and freed Lakshmana. Ram and Ravana fought fiercely. Ram shot an arrow into Ravana's chest and defeated him, but did not kill him. Ravana retreated to Lanka and summoned his mighty brother Kumbhakarna. Kumbhakarna was an extremely deep sleeper. Even while all this disaster was happening, he knew nothing of it. The demons beat great drums and blew terrifying instruments near his ears to wake him. When he finally rose, he asked what was happening, heard the full story, and charged at the monkey army with furious might. Kumbhakarna wounded Angad and Hanuman and even seized Sugriva. But Sugriva cleverly freed himself and bit off Kumbhakarna's nose and ears. Kumbhakarna recovered and fought fiercely again. He battled Lakshmana first and then Ram in a mighty duel. Finally, Ram slew Kumbhakarna. After him, Lakshmana slew the demons Mahodara, Narantaka, and Ravana's son Atikaya. When Indrajit heard that so many of Ravana's great warriors had been killed, he was furious. He used magic to fight from a hidden position and knocked Sugriva, Angad, and Jambavan unconscious. Thinking all of Ram's soldiers were dead, he returned home celebrating. Meanwhile, Hanuman went to a distant mountain and brought healing herbs. The entire monkey army revived. Then Vibhishana told Ram that if Indrajit completed a special fire ritual he was performing, he could never be defeated. So Ram sent Lakshmana to disrupt the ritual. Lakshmana mounted on Hanuman's shoulders and went to Indrajit's ritual and disrupted it. Furious, Indrajit came out and attacked Lakshmana. A terrible battle ensued between the two. Finally, Lakshmana slew Indrajit in battle. When Ravana heard that Indrajit was killed, he was overcome with grief. Resolving to die fighting rather than retreat, he took a huge army and came out for battle himself. Ram and Ravana fought a fierce and epic battle. For 7 days the sky was dark with arrows. Thousands on both sides were killed. Finally, by Ram's hand, Ravana was slain. Everyone rejoiced. After Ravana's death, Vibhishana was crowned king of Lanka. Sita was brought from the Ashoka garden, bathed, dressed in fine clothes and ornaments, and brought before Ram. Sita declared her purity before everyone, and the earth itself opened and took her in, confirming her innocence. Chapter 7, Uttarakanda, the final chapter. Ram, Lakshmana, and Sita flew back to Ayodhya in Ravana's Pushpaka Vimana, the flying vehicle. Along the way, Ram pointed out to Sita all the places where important events had occurred during their exile. When they neared Ayodhya, Ram sent Hanuman ahead to give Bharat the news of their return. The joy that Bharat felt on hearing this news cannot be described in words. Ram, Lakshmana, and Sita were reunited with Kaushalya, Sumitra, Kaikeyi, Bharat, and everyone with great love. Ram's coronation was performed with great ceremony. This brave, virtuous, and people loving king brought happiness to the entire kingdom of Ayodhya. Ram ruled Ayodhya for many years in great happiness, surrounded by his family and friends, governing wisely and caring for his people. But sorrow came again for poor Sita. One day, one of Ram's spies reported that some people were questioning Sita's honor since she had lived in Ravana's house for so many months. Hearing this, Ram was deeply pained. To protect his reputation as a just king, he asked Lakshmana to take Sita to the forest near Saje Valmiki's ashram and leave her there. Lakshmana bowed to Sita with great sorrow and with tears in his eyes departed. Sita was left alone in the forest, weeping. Saje Valmiki heard her crying and came himself to comfort her. He took her into his ashram with kindness and care. Sita gave birth to two sons in Valmiki's ashram. Valmiki named them Kush and Lav. These two boys looked exactly like Ram in appearance and even in intelligence. Valmiki taught them to read and write and had them memorize the verses of the Ramayana which he himself had composed. One day, Valmiki was sitting with Kush and Lav when an invitation came from Ramachandra to recite the Ramayana at the grand Ashwamedha Yagna sacrifice. Valmiki went with the two boys. There Kush and Lav recited the Ramayana in sweet voices. Ram was deeply moved by the beauty of the story and the resemblance of the two boys to himself. On investigation, he learned these were indeed his own sons. He sent word to Valmiki saying that if Sita could give proof of her purity before everyone, he was ready to accept her back. Valmiki agreed and brought Sita to the assembly. Sita stood before everyone and spoke with great dignity. If I have not done anything wrong in body, words, or mind, then let this earth take me into itself. As she said this, the earth split open and Sita disappeared into it. After Sita disappeared, Ram's heart was overwhelmed with grief. Nothing interested him anymore. He longed to follow the same path. Ram gave half the kingdom of Ayodhya to his sons Lav and Kush. He sent for his brother Shatrughna and all settled their affairs. Ram decided it was time to depart from this world. With Vibhishana, Hanuman, Jambavan, and hundreds of monkey warriors who came for a last glimpse of Ramachandra, Ram entered the sacred Sarayu river. He took all those present with him to the next world. Here the Ramayana ends. What can we learn from the Ramayana? Children, I have told you the story of the Ramayana. Now let me tell you briefly what each character teaches us. From Ram, we learn to honor and respect our parents, gurus, and elders. Do what they say. Study with concentration. Exercise regularly to keep your body strong. Never be arrogant toward anyone. Always speak the truth. When elders tell you one thing and you want to do another, set aside your own wish and listen to your elders. Love your siblings and never fight with them. Always remain happy. This is true religion, this is true merit, this is true welfare. From Lakshmana, we learn to have complete love for our siblings. Be ready to face any difficulty for them. If your brother gets angry and speaks too much, keep calm. Never jump headlong into a quarrel. Think everything over carefully. Consider your siblings' happiness as your own happiness. What can we learn from the Ramayana? Children, I have told you the story of the Ramayana. Now let me tell you briefly what each character teaches us. From Ram, we learn to honor and respect our parents, gurus, and elders. Do what they say. Study with concentration. Exercise regularly to keep your body strong. Never be arrogant toward anyone. Always speak the truth. When elders tell you one thing and you want to do another, set aside your own wish and listen to your elders. Love your siblings and never fight with them. Always remain happy. This is true religion, this is true merit, this is true welfare. From Lakshmana, we learn to have complete love for our siblings. Be ready to face any difficulty for them. If your brother gets angry and speaks too much, keep calm. Never jump headlong into a quarrel. Think everything over carefully. Consider your siblings' happiness as your own happiness. From Bharat, we learned the highest form of brotherly love. He was even ready to give up the kingdom for Ram. What greater brotherly love can there be? From Sita, we learned pure and noble conduct. When Ravana took her by force, he used every possible means to tempt her. He spoke sweet words, showed her riches, threatened her, and even put a death scare into her. But she never strayed from her principles. That is why even the sages confirmed her character. And she became a venerable figure to all. From Hanuman, we learned the virtue of wholehearted selfless service. Once Hanuman took up Ram's service, he did not look back to save his own life. To serve with full heart, without laziness or negligence, is a servant's highest duty. The contentment of mind that comes from fulfilling one's duty is the greatest reward. From Ravana, we learn what not to do. Even if one gains wealth, power, and authority, one must not become arrogant. One must not disrespect others. One must not covet others' possessions. One must not be wicked or reckless. If someone gives good advice, one must not dismiss it. If close friends or relatives who have your best interests at heart point out your faults, do not get angry. Instead, Be grateful and try to correct those faults. Reckless behavior brings about one's own destruction. In summary, be a good son like Ram, be a loving and devoted sibling like Bharat and Lakshmana, be a faithful and selfless servant like Hanuman. Do not be arrogant, wicked, or evil like Ravana. Live with pure conduct and devotion like Sita. May God give you wisdom, long life, and happiness. This is the prayer with which the Bal Ramayana comes to an end.